So as I said, we're going to begin to look at how to create our own paper grains. And the first thing that we can do is we can bring in external grayscale files that we can use as paper grains. And these can be anything. They don't have to even look like paper. They could be just about any grayscale pattern that you could possibly want. And as you're looking through all the various different papers when we get later into the libraries and into other workspaces, you'll see that the paper grain is actually hugely powerful. But for right now, I'm just going to show you how to make stuff that looks more or less like paper. So to begin with, let's go ahead and go up to File and Open. And we're going to go to the desktop here where we have the Painter 12 work files. And in there, you'll find that there's a Chapter 3 folder. And in there, you'll find demopaper.psd. We're just going to go ahead and open that up. All right. So this is just a small grayscale file. It's 256 pixels by 256 pixels. And this was made in Photoshop, but it can very easily be made in a similar way here in Painter, and I'll show you exactly how that's done. And actually, I made this in two different programs. The first program I started with was a program made by a company called Algorithmic, and the program itself is called Substance Designer. And then I used a specific filter in Photoshop, which I'll show you the equivalent of in Painter in order to get this ready for Painter. Now, the main reason why I did that was because Painter can't deal with 16-bit images, and the other programs that I was dealing with does deal with 16-bit images, so that was a change that I needed to make in order to be able to bring this into Painter. But trust me when I say we can do exactly this look in Painter very easily. So to begin with, what we want to do is we want to go to Select All. Remember that Control A? It's very, very powerful. And again, you can see those marching ants. In this particular instance, we're not going to have this open long enough to bother with Hide Marquee. So the very first thing that we want to do here is we want to go over to our paper libraries. At the bottom here, you'll see a little icon that says Capture Paper. It looks kind of like an empty document with the marquee around it. You can select anything, and we'll learn more about the selection tools later, but you can select anything and make it a paper grain by simply clicking on this Capture Paper button, which is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to call this one Demo Paper, and I'm going to turn the crossfade all the way down. Now, what is crossfade? Crossfade is kind of a blurring of the edges, a smudging of the edges, I suppose, where it's trying to blend the edges so that it will become a seamlessly tileable image. Now, the problem with crossfade is it doesn't look particularly convincing, in my opinion. You really want to generate images that are seamlessly tileable right from the get-go. That way you don't have any problems. And I'll show you how to do that in Painter. So we're going to hit OK. And you can see right here that we now have demo paper, and it's got the little green highlight around it telling us that that's the active paper. So let me go ahead now and just close out this document that we opened. We don't want to save the changes. And now, if we come back over here, click on demo paper to make it the active paper, and then we go ahead and turn on directional toggle, and we click, you can see that we end up with a completely different paper grain. And of course, in this instance, we can scale this paper grain down. And typically, if you're working at a very high resolution like this, something that's 256 pixels by 256 pixels is going to look really good close up at 50%, which is going to make it 128 pixels by 128 pixels, as you can see in the readout right here. So let me just go ahead and click that, and you can see what I mean. Now this looks like a very fine, convincing paper grain, whereas here maybe this is going to look better zoomed out. So you can play with the brightness and the contrast. You could invert it and get different results. As you can see here, just capturing a simple document as a new paper grain couldn't be easier, and you have all of the power of the native paper grains that come inside Painter.